Dude is a movie that completes the trilogy of Pradeep Ranganathan's epic success. He's another example of someone who's really broken himself down and figured out how to like get through. An amazing technician, amazing filmmaker who also happened to become a lead actor. And Dude is the third movie that he appears in as a lead actor, and it grossed close to 100 or more. And I don't know the exact figure, but it was a huge success either ways. And we're gonna break down Dude's character arc, and I find it very interesting. uh, so I did this breakdowns and studies for myself when I was trying to understand the rise of a star and what he did so right thrice in a row. So I think one of the thing in Dude that really stood out for me is the character arc of the lead actor. So we're gonna go. There are many reasons why Dude is such a cool movie. One of the main reasons is, besides Pradeep Ranganathan, is Saya Bianca's amazing music, the stellar cast, which is Mamita Baiju and Sarath Kumar, and a lot of other great actors coming into the mix. So we're gonna look at the character that goes through several layers. So we introduce him through a fight at the very start. Okay, I'm gonna do my best. Yeah. All the skills of sitting in the last bench in school are coming forth where it's a fight. Okay, where he, so that kind of establishes that he can fight. The character straight up fights, and he also has a girlfriend who's now his ex, whose marriage is happening here, and all he wants to do is come and ask why, or why did you break up with me. So it's a bit of an action comedy that it starts off with. The purpose of this, I think, really the subplot of the girl being there is to set up the character. I think that is very capable of having relationships. This guy has a past and he's already been broken once. So that's what, so he's a bit of a heartbreak kid, and I think that's where the character of arc takes off. So then he can fight, he has a heartbreak, and then but then he has a gig where he likes to make people feel happy by gifting them the opportunity to propose. uh, you know the ones who are less fortunate, also he helps them to propose or like creates moments for them, and that's his thing, shown through a song. And that kind of establishes the character. And then he has a friend too, plus a friend that's more like a love interest as the movie proceeds. So this is where we set it up, and straight up, um, Mamita Baiju tells Pradeep Ranganathan's character that she loves him and that she would like to spend the rest of this horrible or beautiful little thing called life with him. Okay? So she does that. ప్రపోజ్ చేసేస్తుంది. దాని తర్వాత వీడు నో అంటాడు. He says no to that proposal, and the movie passes by where in this gap where he says no to her, Mamita is like already being. Meanwhile, marriage proposals, marriage, these things are underway because of Sarath Kumar's character. So there's a whole marriage thing happening, but by then Mamita is heartbroken that uh, Pradeep Ranganathan said no to her. But then there's a little bit of an arc where Pradeep Ranganathan realizes that he does love her indeed, and that forms the basis of the character arc. So basically, it's a heartbreak kid who had a heartbreak. I'm just gonna say HB, heartbreak, which affects this choice of his, that he says no to her because probably a little bit of that trauma of being rejected carried forth, or maybe he never looked at her like anything more than a friend. It's a combination of all these things. So when he says no to her, and there's this little bit of a time delay. There's a bit of a time delay, and he just misses his chance to actually accept this proposal. And then there's a bit of an incident that happens in his life. I think there's a bit of an accident where the only thing he can think of is Mamita Baiju at that point. It's either an action sequence or an accident, but there is an incident which makes him confront the love he has for her. And then he decides that he's gonna like accept the marriage. So and then comes another song. And you have to understand this music is a huge part of the success of Dude. So this song is where now we see the character now goes through, you know, a transformation from being not okay with love to now accepting that he does love her. And that's it. Like if you see his character arc at this point in the romantic zone is kind of complete. The moment he realizes he does love, that's a mini little character arc from no love to I love her through a song. But then once he goes and he tells her, he's again heartbroken. There's a rejection coming from in circumstantial rejection coming from Mamita Baiju, because by now there's been a little bit of time that has passed, and this time has caused the part that we don't see. We don't see this is Mamita Baiju now has fallen in love with someone, and by the time he goes, he has to put on an act that he's all good about it, and brilliantly shown by a shot that holds on Pradeep Ranganathan's face as he tries to win the Oscar with a performance with just his face that just breaks down. Also, there is a scene earlier when a ring falls into the commode and Mamita Bai just straight goes for it. And I hope they spent money to buy a new prop and it was fresh mineral water in there because she's such a good artist. But she pulls the ring out, kind of showing the extent to which she is, caring for this guy. So these are little nuances I want to bring your attention to. Like, how much does he love him? She loves him enough to stick her hand into the potty. How much does he love her? He loves her enough to go to the side and and cry in private and then tell her that it's all good. It's all good that you don't love me. Feelings zero. I like to watch Tamil movies in Tamil language with subtitles. So I can't really like repeat the dialogue, but it must be like feelings. Nee me the feelings naku zero. And malantadu. This hero will say na feelings zero. One thing I want you to observe is Pradeep Ranganathan. What did they do to like establish that he's the lead of this film? Besides the earlier success, which is obvious, uh, they kind of showed a fight. They kind of showed that a girl is interested in him, and even I happen to have recently gone very detailed into the song that happens at the start, which is this boom boom song. They launched it with it. My three filmmakers, they launched the movie with this song, and that song I even looked at the framing. Pradeep Ranganathan is framed, with a cool crowd, but there's always like some women in and around his face, not like evidently in the same line, but if you look at the group formation, they made sure that they use the extras well, framed him against good looking people. And that's important because you gotta like present this lead actor as a hero, and by the time the story kicks off into motion, we totally are invested like in the romantic journey of this actor. Also, there is a big cast uh, fanatic in Mamita Baiju's father, who will not allow Mamita to marry this guy that she fell in love with. So now this character, from being a romantic hero, he has now a romantic quest. He has a quest or a mission to make someone else's love a success, which is Mamita Baiju's love a success, and that is the goal that drives the plot. Okay, the goal that drives the plot is make this girl's love a success, to make sure that her love is a success, and the big obstacle here is her father, who will go to any extent to make sure that there is no cocktail of castes happening. According to him, his caste is the best. Sounds ridiculously familiar to a lot of people, even in today's day and age. But yeah, the father doesn't like her marrying anyone outside the caste, and just to make sure that we are on board with the plot, she has to fall in love with someone outside the caste. Okay, so now the scheme is this: there's a scheme or a plan, and the plan will say that uh, Pradeep Ranganathan will kind of marry her. Okay, he will go through with the. Actually, they do attempt to like the scheme is to send Mamita and her lover away abroad. But in order to do that, he has to gather the passport of this guy that she fell in love with, etc. And that guy has no passport. So that means they have to go through with the marriage, and somewhere along the marriage, he'll send her away. Now, what is incredibly crazy is by then, post wedding or during wedding, she gets pregnant. Okay. And this is revealed a few months in after the marriage. So, sure, there's a lot of back and forth happening. I want to tell you that I'm just looking at the overall character arc. Pradeep Ranganathan then decides to almost go, but then there's this very beautiful shot of their childhood. I call this the motivational cut. I saw it most clearly in Quentin Tarantino's work. I mean, I became most it became very clear to me, like in Django Unchained, just before he has to kill someone, there is this little shot of why he's so angry at them. Or in Kill Bill, when she has to break out of a coffin, there is this whole sequence of how she gets the power to be able to just break through the coffin from just, a finger punch distance. So those are more physical motivations or emotional motivations. This is more like a romantic motivation as to why he's gonna come right back and help her through this. It's because as a kid, deep within his heart, he's made a pact with himself that he's always gonna protect her. And that's so beautiful, right? That's 100 crores right there, I think. So emotions drive the action, and he comes back, and that's the scheme now. They're gonna get married, and along the way, they're gonna go off to another country. I think that's Dubai. I'm not very sure, but definitely abroad. Okay, so that's their plan. That's my quick doodle of a plane. Okay, I'll put some clouds so you understand. Okay, so then right after that, we see the forward momentum. There's a baby that comes in. Okay, and then of course now with the big goal, which is to make Mamita Baiju's love win. Along the way, there are little checkpoints that we almost look forward to. When is Baiju going to discover Pradeep Ranganathan's love for her? When is that going to happen? It happens on in one of the ceremonies that is happening, and Pradeep Ranganathan's friend reveals it to Mamita Baiju, and that he always loved you, and this is how much he loves you. So that checkpoint is crossed, and then comes the other checkpoint, which is at what point will the father know of this? That checkpoint is crossed as well. So, in a romantic movie like this, where there's a lot of pain at the heart of it, and weirdly, the success of this protagonist will lie in making somebody else's love win, and through that, he makes his love win, right? So, this romantic quest starts. It could also be a romantic adventure, but it's more of a quest because there's more emotions involved. So, the difference between quest and adventure is when you look at both are very similar in the sense that quest is and adventure both require a character to go through a journey to finally arrive at a goal. This is a romance involved in it. So this is a romantic quest because it's more emotional than physical. Like Indiana Jones is more like an adventure. Like if these two characters were to run and escape right from the get go, if they had to go through that, Dowd is more like a romantic adventure, if you were to ask me. So this is like a romantic quest, and as he goes through, there's a baby that comes in, and Pradeep Ranganathan really cares for it, so he's becoming a bit of. So we showcase the number of ways we use every opportunity to showcase his love for Mamita Baiju, which comes from a comedy of errors, which comes from him very reluctantly accepting that that guy is the right fit for Mamita's character. So as he hits all those checkpoints, there is a big moment that comes when the father will learn of father learns. So that's another big checkpoint that happens. Father learns, and then Pradeep Ranganathan uses whatever little wit he could conjure up in the moment to make it seem like a prank. And this is Chekhov's gun in action, guys. We have very early seen that Pradeep Ranganathan's character, through a song, we have shown it here through Boom Boom song, that he likes to like make people happy with dance videos, prank videos, etc., surprises people. So all he does is he puts a so there is a video recording all of that, and Pradeep Ranganathan saves Mamita Baiju's life. Uh, Mamita's life he saves by coming just in time and saying, "Hey, Anta April Fool, it's just a prank. It's just a prank," and that is in sync with his character that we have already established till now. So After this movement, it's high stakes now because uh, now the father is on high alert. And yeah, in case we missed it, Pradeep Ranganathan is of the same caste as Mamta Baiju or Mamta Baiju's father. And we also have to know how dangerous a villain is because he's the uh, chief obstacle in this quest. We reveal a backstory where Pradeep Ranganathan's mom is reveals a dark past about Mamita's father, that he was someone who didn't hesitate to kill his own sister just because she was willing to marry someone outside the caste. So that is the extent of his darkness. It's very important to show the extent to which an antagonist or an obstacle will go so that we get the stakes. It's death, and it's demonstrated even in the moment when father learns it. He points a gun at her and he reveals the backstory, and the father also plays along and saying, "Of course it's a prank. Of course it's a prank." So we proceed now into what happened to his character, and at the end, there is, of course, I also want to tell you, character arc is not just for the protagonist. All the characters arc in this, all the principal actors arc in this. Like Pradeep Ranganathan's character goes from heartbreak to saying no to her love to finally saying yes, but again him getting heartbreak to wanting to help her to marrying her and helping her, marrying plus helping, to finally uh, confronting his truth with her. And then as they proceed to the climax, the stakes are at its peak when, you know, Pradeep Ranganathan does one final twist where, of course, like in a movie like this, there is a son who is not of the same caste. So Sarat Kumar's character might kill this newborn life, and Pradeep Ranganathan saves the day by creating enough twists in the climax to make us all go ooh and ah. And with the right music, it's just blockbuster. And then he lies. There is a lie at the end of it, a lie. ఈ పెళ్లి చేయడానికి 100 అబద్ధాలు ఆడతారు. ఆ 100 అబద్ధాల్లో ఒక మేజర్ అబద్ధం లాస్ట్‌కి ఏమొస్తదంటే ద కిడ్ సేవ్డ్ గ్రాండ్ పా అని చెప్పి వస్తది. సో దిస్ గ్రాండ్ పాస్ కాస్ట్ పైత్యం బ్రేక్ అవ్వాలంటే ఒక నాన్ కాస్ట్ kid should come and help this guy live. And that's when he can't help but owe his life to this little kid. And through that realization, he's gonna accept his daughter's love. And here's the most interesting thing about uh, the movie really happens. There's this slow mo heroic walk of Pradeep Ranganathan walking out, and the sacrifice is the heroic truth of this hero. It's not a hero who's gonna win in love, but he's gonna win in how much he loved her without really wanting anything from her. And in that lies the heroism. And trust me, that could have gone wrong ideologically in my head when I think of it. There's a lot of scope of it going wrong, but it didn't, and we all felt like a lot of people felt the heroism in this great sacrifice. I think we all deep within like to, be feel good about ourselves, and that plays straight into Pradeep Ranganathan's character, that he feels good about himself. I gotta mention, just before the climax, there is this attempt from Mamita Baiju's character to get him to fall in love with someone and get him, you know, just hitch him up with some girl. But that doesn't happen. There's no redemption for this character on the romantic front, except that he's gonna make someone else feel happy, and through that he's gonna find his victory. And this is something Pradeep Ranganathan's character has in his DNA right throughout, that he likes to help others and he made a business of it, and that's his core character. And the very thing that happened at the start, which is his heartbreak, happens right at the end again, which is his heartbreak. But this time it's a victory because he walks away having done the one thing that he loves doing most, which is help others be happy. And in this case, he's going to help the love of his life end up marrying someone else, and in that he finds his happiness. And That's just beautiful. Some of the things that I personally would have liked to see more is establish Pradeep Ranganathan's desire to give, desire to make others happy. I would have like really gone harder into that more. Sorry, there's no apostrophe there. Desire to make others happy. I would have gone further into it. A very good parallel is Ludo. Just one of the stories in Ludo is shows Rajkumar Rao going all out in this very beautiful comedic sacrifice where he says some love stories are just like this. You don't get anything in return. You just give, 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 and your heart keeps breaking, breaking, breaking. And in that, you express your love. I love both these stories. The one in Ludo, highly recommend you to go and check that movie out. So that's the breakdown of Pradeep Ranganathan's character arc and a basic gist of how the synopsis flows to test it in this movie. Oh, by the way, the other characters arc as well, and the biggest arc comes from the antagonist, where from being a guy who's not afraid to kill his own sister in order to keep his caste pure, goes all out and accepts a newborn and accepts his daughter's love with another caste. So somehow I've seen this in a few Tamil movies. Be it there's this cricket movie in which the climax is not about winning but about making caste different caste people come together and play cricket and make people accept that. So there's a lot of themes of trying to do away with caste. I'm guessing it's something that people feel very passionate, and I'm glad people are tackling these themes. I believe in a world too where love takes precedence. And on that note, that's the episode.